By now you had to have seen the stories and the videos on YouTube about the gas lines in the areas affected by Hurricane Sandy. People are waiting in line for 6 hours to get fuel. Sometimes when they get to the front of the line, the gas station runs out of fuel. And this is classic. This is a classic scenario of a government coming in and putting a ceiling on prices. And that's what the laws about gouging are. They're a ceiling on prices. The governor has come out and he's reaffirmed, I think it was Christie, there's 2 states involved there. He came out and he affirmed, anyone who raises prices during this crisis will be punished or whatever. I don't know what he said, but basically the government is squashing the free market. And just to give you an example of what could happen. What could happen in a situation like this. Many people have pickup trucks for hauling campers or for their businesses hauling heavy equipment around. These trucks go through a lot of fuel. A lot of times they use diesel fuel, but that doesn't matter. Often they'll have a 100-gallon fuel tank or 150-gallon, give or take, fuel tank in the bed of their truck with a hose on it that looks exactly like the hose that you get from the gas station. I saw in one of these YouTube videos a guy sold a 2.5-gallon can of gasoline for $50. So that's $20 a gallon. Now, to do this, it's illegal for him to do this. So, you have to slip in, sell your gas, and get out before you get caught. If this were legal, people could employ these large tanks that they have in their pickup trucks. And let's say, not for $20 a gallon, maybe, how about for $10 a gallon? Let's say somebody drives 100 miles out of town, and then they drive 100 miles back, and they fill their 100-gallon tank up with gasoline instead of diesel, because it can hold either one. You just don't put diesel in it. It's completely separate from the tank that the truck uses. So they fill their tank up with gasoline, and they sell it for $10 a gallon. And if gas is $4 a gallon, it's actually a little bit less than that, but for simplicity's sake, I don't know what they're charging on the East Coast anyway. If gas is $4 a gallon right now and they manage to sell it for $10, you're looking at $600 gross on that 100-gallon tank of gas. Now, of course, they had to drive 200 miles at 15 miles a gallon, plus, wear and tear. Let's say it's 50 cents a mile, so it costs them $100 to get there and back with the gas. And then maybe, say, the time it takes for them to leave, go get the gas, come back, sell the gas, and leave again, is 4.5 hours. If you're looking at $500 for 4.5 hours worth of work, that would be a powerful incentive for people to sell gas. And it wouldn't just be people with these big tanks. You might see somebody fill up an entire pickup bed full of gas cans and do it. There would be all kinds of entrepreneurial people coming up with solutions to get gas from the places where they have it to the places where they don't. And these 6-hour gas lines would go away. The price probably wouldn't settle at $10 a gallon. Once people got the word that they could make money at this rate, more and more people would do it, and eventually the price would come down. And as the price comes down, the lines would come down with it. And that brings me to the other effect that would improve the availability of gas. I saw in a video, one guy, he was in line for about 6 hours. He got in line, he had half a tank of fuel. First, for one thing, if you knew you could get gas, you would not get in line if you had half a tank of fuel. You would probably drive around a little bit longer, so you wouldn't spend so much time in line. You would wait until you were almost empty. Also, he was in line for so long, and even though he shut his car off while waiting, he had to start his car every time he wanted to move. He burnt a quarter tank of gas while he's in line. So not only would the free market make more gas available, it would also reduce the amount of gas people need. the idea that the government should squash freedom just because there's a crisis is ridiculous. And it also illustrates what would happen if the government were to squash freedom in general. And we should take these moments of crisis as a learning experience to understand how excessive rules and regulations by government reduce prosperity and reduce the overall well-being of the population as a whole.